Leafs Talk, JD Bunkis, Sam McKee, Justin Bourne. Hell, it's the only way that I can describe the feeling right now amongst the group, amongst Leafs Nation. The Leafs have now turned a 3-0 series lead into a 3-2 lead, getting back on a plane to Ottawa. One of the most pathetic performances, in my opinion, of this core. Sammy, let's start with you.
Even for these guys, boys.
Yeah.
Even for these guys.
Even for them.
Tonight was pretty remarkable.
Gutless.
It just can't look like that. You can lose this game, fellas. And there's a way that you can lose this game where all of us, all of Leafs Nation, everyone around the team doesn't feel like a piece of crap. There's a way to lose this game. But let me tell you, fellas, that was not the way. The way that game looked, and there's been all the different talk, and as soon as it gets to the nut crunching time, it's the same. It reverts. It looks similar for the big boys. And tonight, buddy, that was dark. Dark.
I think like we're approaching a time where like they're like a case study. They need an exorcist or something. I just can't remember athletes as talented. We've seen it forever, as gifted at what they do as they are, so continuously shrink from moments. It's honestly like they didn't grow up playing hockey, like mean, competitive, real hockey. It's like they play an exhibition sport or something. And when it turns into real pond, road, knee hockey, they've never played those type of games for some reason. It's baffling.
I genuinely want to know if like Sportsnet stats, because I've seen this from people like, I saw our buddy Luke Fox posted Leafs are now 1-12 in elimination games after the last one. And it irked me because I saw a few people like from the outside posting about like how Toronto's up 3-1 and this is what their media does, right? Like this is the media reaction. But genuinely, now at 1-13 in elimination games, even for the like most staunch defenders of like, oh, well, year over year or whatever little lame excuse you're clutching onto at this point. Has this ever happened in NHL history before? Like, has there ever been a group of four of players that have been together, four guys, Morgan Rielly, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander, that are 1-13 in playoff elimination games? Is it even possible?
What about sports history, bud?
Yeah.
Like not hockey history. Like this
like
is
Norman choked away a few majors, but like that's not this.
This is remarkable futility with chances to eliminate people. Like 1-13.
Mitch Marner has 0 goals in those 14 games we're talking about. He averages 30 a year.
It's Austin Matthews now with 2 goals in his last 15 playoff games, by the way.
And 9 points in 14 elimination games. It's really, like it's genuinely baffling. And for you guys know that I'm like constantly the guy who's like, they're too good. It's gonna come. It'll, they'll figure it out here as their career goes along. Even if they figure it out at this point, it'll be impossible not to look back at this part of their career and go, I don't know. I've never seen anyone take that long to untangle the knot.
No, it's incredible. Like it really is.
And you know what's the coaching aspect of this, where they're so good defensively. Tonight was again so good defensively. Like they just gave up absolutely nothing. They give up 1 goal, a seeing eye shot from the point where Matthews and Marner are on the ice, by the way, where Austin Matthews gets cleaned out in the draw after and then screens his own goalie after missing a wide open net on a 2-on-1.
I might add to get to
that. But like they give up a shorthanded goal again off of a turnover from Austin Matthews. But like they gave up nothing. They did the defense. They were great defensively. Like the D-core again stood tall, limited everything, just did their part. And this team is screaming. Can you imagine what Chris Tanev is thinking? What Carlo's been on the other side of this how many times? Yeah. And he's like, guys, Come on. Like, jeez. Like, he's chirped these guys for this exact thing how many different times, right? It's just,
So,
go ahead, bud.
well, I was just going to say that to this point, I was thinking about it again during the game. Tanev and McKee were awesome, right? Like, they really were.
Yeah,
Tanev made a bunch of brilliant plays. And I thought Chris Tanev and Jake McCabe are this team's identity players.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. That's not supposed to be what this team is. They're supposed to be additive. They're not supposed to be the identity. The identity is supposed to be 16, 34, and 88. And I really want to clamp down on 34 in particular, because I don't think any of those three had a good night tonight by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think Marner had a moment in the game where I really noticed him until he got to the net and came close with a shot in the second period. But Austin Matthews just laid down one of the all-time greatest chokes for an organization that we just talked about, is now fully famous for choking. He was dreadful tonight. Like, he misses a wide open net, and Sammy, you said it, goes down, gets cleaned out in a draw, and then stands right in front of his goaltender and misses a puck, goes into the back of the net. Purely him that causes the screen. What does he do on the power play? He turns the puck over. What happens when he gets a wide open net with a chance down 2-1 with still 5 minutes left in the game? He rings the post. Like, Matthews was invisible tonight. He wasn't invisible tonight. You wish he was invisible tonight. You would have killed for Austin Matthews to just be invisible tonight. But unfortunately, he was visible and he broke this team's back. It was horrific for him. And for a guy, Bourne, that you pointed out today, mentioned how he wanted to hear the crowd get even louder than before, to show up and lay that kind of an egg. I cannot imagine. Like, what? Can you strip a guy of a captaincy a year after you stripped a guy of a captaincy? Because if he drops down two more of those performances, like, I just don't even know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Morny.
Yeah, it's tough to put into words what we're witnessing here. I try to vacillate between like the big picture stuff and where the series is at, but you can't separate all that without just evaluating tonight's performance. And it reminded me of Game 7 against Montreal, where they lose 5-6 in overtime. In Game 7, it was like the game never started for them. Like, it just, I keep thinking about watching Florida or watching Tampa or watching Edmonton or watching these teams when things get desperate. And for some reason, I get stuck on the analysis of playing 21 with someone in the backyard and they're making every free throw and you throw it off the line to throw them off. You got to fall on a goalie. You got to punch someone in the face. So you got to create some energy. If you can't get to the areas with the puck, get to the areas without the puck and let someone shoot the puck in from there. And if not, have a battle in front. Like, you have to find a way for this to be interesting. You can't just, thank God Benoit did something at the end of the game, because I was thinking, what would Florida do down 4-0 with 20 seconds left? It'd have been a week and a half before that game ended.
Lawton tried to stir it up with Cousins at the end there too, where the ref has to get in between them or whatever. But I think the saddest part about this for me is because, listen, Leafs do, and this is the most positive part of it I can say, the Leafs do have 2 more kicks at this thing, clearly.
Yeah.
Okay. But like, even if they win, right? Like, this was supposed to be different, that they're going to beat the Sens in 4 or 5, and that the Stars were producing through the first few games of the series, and they were looking great and they were meaningful contributions. But like, so now you're going to beat the Sens in 6, and the Panthers, who started 4 days after you did, may be done before you're done, trying to beat the Ottawa Senators, who are nowhere near as good as you. You are a much better team. And look at the Panthers could potentially be waiting for you. For me, this game, the game before, and listen, they're close in overtime, I understand all that, whatever. It's just automatically changed my hope for this team.
For this being a cup year.
I thought, like, there was, through those first 3 games, and when they tie it, they go to overtime, I'm like, wow, they actually might get hot here, get a week off, go on a run, get an embattled Florida team where, like, holy, this actually might. And now it's like, okay, you're going to really F around and try to figure out how to beat the Sens. It's going to take you 6 games. You got to go back to that Canadian Tire Center, which will be way louder and way more Sens fans on Thursday night than it was the last time. It changes the ceiling for me, the way these last 2 games have gone. It just does. Like, especially tonight. Like, if they're looking like that against the Sens decor and the Sens forward, what are you going to do against the Florida decor and the Florida forwards? Like, it changes the outlook for me. And I know that's sad and I know that's dark, but it's just how I feel after tonight.
Well, but the thing is though, man, is that you're reacting that way. And I think a lot of Leaf fans are simply because people that believed in them, myself included, once again, look stupid tonight. And that's the thing that drives me crazy about this hockey team and what I felt. And I was probably on socials a little bit more tonight than I should have been, just kind of firing some out. I was hot. I was pretty pissed off during this game. And so I was launching, boys. You know, I've been pent up in bed, you know, with lozenges the last 3 days in the darkness, sweating and freezing and just like trying to get back. And then this was not it. But I've seen this take of like, well, the building gets tight when they get tight and the energy matches the players and it impacts them. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, these fans have been through so much. For them to show up to these games and to support this team through all of this complete BS is incredible fortitude for abuse, right? Like, nobody can take abuse like Leaf fans and then just shrug it off and then still do the our year thing. And for Toronto to come home and just have an opportunity to go, hey, you lost in overtime in game 4. Who cares? Step on the throats. Here you go, fans. Reward night, clincher at home, celebration in the streets. To have that turn into existential dread through an entire hockey game and now bleed out into the next 2 games. It's like, this is the stuff that makes me hate these guys and is hard for me to forgive.
How many times have they been shut out over the past 2, 3, 4 years? Almost never. They went 250 games without a shutout, or 230 or something. Like, it almost never happens. To not give the fans a moment tonight, a moment to believe, a moment where you felt they were in it. The game started and it felt bad until it ended.
It's that Sopranos meme, Sammy. The guy that's the best tweet of the season is the guy that posted Chris going back in the car being like, after spending $5,000 at the Leafs game to watch them lose 2-0. And it's just Chris Maltasanti looking like it's after like a heroin binge stuffed in the back of the car with Paulie. That's how you feel.
Looking out the window.
Yeah, it's just, you want them to give them, one moment, like you said. But I thought the first period, it gave me huge Keefe Leaf vibes, where if it's game 1 or game 2 or game 3 Allmark, they probably get 2 goals in that period. They had tons of chances. They had that power play where they were buzzing around. And then who took the penalty to end it? Yeah, maybe no. Oh, yeah, he slashed the stick. It was Nyes. He slashed his stick. But they were buzzing around the net. What they end that period with? 12, 13 shots. I think it was shots for 13.
We just couldn't get one to fall, Sammy. We just couldn't get one to fall.
Exactly.
Well, Stolarz has already trotted out the quote, "We seemed a little snake bitten," quote, which is like, man,
you're new here. You're new.
I know. Why?
You're new.
Don't say it.
Just don't say it. You're new here.
We're not snake bitten. We are consumed by the boa. We are inside the beast.
The serpent. We are the serpent.
We are Pinocchio inside the whale. But it's
you know that thing in, what's that thing in Harry Potter? We are the basilisk, baby. Like this thing's creeping around the window, around the halls. But like, I thought they were pretty good in the first period, where they had their chances and it felt like they were playing well. And they didn't get one. Sens score first and tight. Immediately, every guy's demeanor on that team changes. And I can't help but think they all know the stats for their, like, there's new guys that have been brought in here. There's a bunch of new cast of characters. Yeah. But they all know what the top 2 guys' stats are in elimination games. They all know what Nylander and Tavares' stats are. It bleeds through the entire roster. It bleeds through the fans. It bleeds through the front office. Like, it bleeds through the streets of Toronto. Everyone, as soon as that goal went in, I said out loud to Allie, they're dead. It's 1-0 in the second period. I was right. How was I right? It was 1-0. Like, it was crazy how much
Brady Tkachuk leaves with a goal and 2 assists, and he gets to wave to the crowd and feels good about the night. And
can
And by the way, no one in Ottawa was any good offensively. There's not
No.
one player in our team
No.
like on their team where you're like,
but
look
s-
out for that guy.
But to Sammy's point there too, I think that's one of the most concerning things is we always want to know the question of what was it going to look like when the Leafs got punched in the mouth, right? When they were up 3-0 in the series, it was, hey, they still need to pass the ghost test, which is what happens when there's a scary moment, and will you get that in this series? And they got it in the second period with that goal, which again was a seeing eye puck right after again Matthews missed the net and then lost the draw and screened his own goaltender. But the goal goes in, and you're dead right. The game completely changed. Toronto's attitude completely changed. The arena completely changed. And it didn't feel like a group that said, okay, we've been here before. Don't worry, we'll overcome it. It felt like a group that says, oh my God, we've been here before. We're going to lose. We're exact same as Sammy on the couch yelling at his wife.
Yeah.
Now,
we're dead.
is there a chance that this is, they go through this and feel the ghosts again and find their way
Sure.
through, and it's helpful to have gone through it in this round?
Sure. But this is the ultimate, like, fool me. What's the George Bush one where he's like,
Fool me 14
once,
times.
shame on you.
Shame on
Fool
you.
me twice. Won't get fooled again. Like, they're 1-13 in elimination games.
1 in
Like,
13.
Also, I just want to add that Marner getting picked on that play there, the goal, is a definite penalty that, tough Browns. There's nothing to do with any of this, but anyway.
Yeah. So game 6 talk.
Well, I got a couple more things on this one.
Okay.
One is, if we're doing positives, I really liked the Lorentz line, and like he and Scott Lawton, I thought were all around it tonight, and Calle Yarncroke too, to a lesser degree, but those guys were fearless. And Steven Lorentz was like a millisecond away from tucking in a puck that would have made him the hero of Toronto, because I genuinely believe if Toronto scores one goal there from Steven Lorentz, it completely tilts the tide and they grab the momentum and they slaughter Ottawa the rest of the game. We'll never know. And this is like Leafs fan fiction is the only way you can win. Is I'm like, yeah, Lorentz does this happens. But I really believe that was almost a moment. But those guys never changed the way that they played. So much of this series, one of the only concerning things to me has been, I don't like how Toronto never seems to really be able to build shift on shift. And those guys have been shift builders for them, where it's like they can go in, they can create, they're not scoring, but they give opportunities for the next guys to come over the boards and hem in Ottawa's defense and actually create. So plus for those guys tonight.
Okay, I got a couple of not plus.
Can I build on that quickly, that Lorentz thing?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I love Steve Lorentz. He's been really good at it. That line was their best by far tonight. Like multiple times I'd be like, can you just put them back out there? They're way more threatening than Matthews and Marner are tonight. Way less scared, way more physical. Can I just get a low blocker rip on that? Can I get a hard shot on net?
I like
it's a great play.
Yeah.
It's not. He delays a long time, lets two guys get back on him. He delays. Perron lifts his stick. Easy play for hm. Like, I know it was. He came right back. Listen, if he back checks, like if Willie back check like on the Cousins shorty like Perron did, we may be having a different conversation here. But like Perron just lifts his stick. It's gone. I love Stevie Lorentz. Would have loved just a hard wrister there. Get it low on the pads, let it come out to the guy he's on the 2-on-1 with. I get it. That's
it doesn't go in, so you're right.
My minor quit.
Well, I think though, it's like if you get an open cage and it takes a full like hard ass back check to lift your stick at the last moment as a puck bobbles away and you're a fourth liner and you created that, I think you did something pretty good. Like, and if he shoots that wrister and it just is an easy save that goes and gets broken out the other way, we're going, oh, that's why you're a fourth liner, right? Like it's the defensive back that goes for the interception instead of going for the ball to just tip it down, where you're like, man, it's just an easy thing, I think, to kind of go over. But ultimately, I just thought that they were good.
They were really
Bourne,
good.
you were about to say something else on this game.
Two things is, you had mentioned after the first goal that they score that the Leafs get tight and feels like it's over. They were nervous out of the gate. I can't remember a game where they fanned on or mishandled so many pucks to start the game. 3 separate times they're behind the D in the first 5-10 minutes. You had Nylander fanned on it, then Domi fanned on it, McMahon fanned on one. I got a list of fanned pucks and mishandled pucks. Really strange. And I don't know if that's nerves or what, but man, they just didn't handle the puck the skilled way they usually do. The next thing is Berube. It doesn't work and you get to be critical of it. McMahon is lost. he should have started on the second line, given him a chance. Robertson, not being in. Pacioretty gave you absolutely nothing for a second game in a row.
Yeah.
Those end up looking like mistakes.
By the way, I'm not going to Robertson, but I'm taking Pacioretty out. It's got to be David Kampf's time here. Going on the road where you're not going to dictate the matchups. This can't be Nick Robertson game. You can't overreact to the fact that you didn't score goals. You've just got to continue to lean into the top guys need to do it. Power play ghosts, by the way. Oof.
They're all there. Every ghost is there.
The power play looked good early before Nyes took that penalty and then absolutely trucked Shane Pinto, who went in on him. And he was like, lovely. Oh, yeah. He's like, do you want to see who I am? All I could think of is, does Matthew Nyes train in the offseason on those sleds that they use in football dryland training? Like, because that was a leverage play. That's on like Gruden's grinders, like right there. It's like he's putting together the highlight film for the NFL Combine. But where was I going? I got foggy brain.
Stolar's wall. Any chance you guys happy with the goalie?
No, the goalie stays. And why he stays? The play of the game that got lost was the pad save that Stolar's made in the third period when
to bail out another massive Matthews turnover straight up the gut, by the way.
That save was a 10 out of 10 great save. And I thought, again, it was a moment where you're like, go get one for your goalie here, but these guys don't have that gear, so they didn't do it.
They didn't get one for their goalie. So no. I don't know about no Robertson though. Like at this point, they're
both in for me.
You're gonna leave Pacioretty in, Bunk, or are you taking Pacioretty out?
No. I would take Pacioretty out and I would put Kampf in.
Domi, see ya.
Domi can't go out.
Domi got bumped up to the second line tonight when they were searching for one, so I don't think that Berube takes him out.
So I don't think he does either. That's my lineup though. Domi out, Pacioretty out.
Yeah.
You mentioned McMahon potentially going up to the second line, and I do agree, but at the same time, what are you rewarding with him?
Yeah,
like what?
He had a big hit tonight.
You're trying to plug him back in, Sam.
Like what are you trying to like? I know, but if you're the coach and you're going with your second line here, he can't receive a pass, fellas. Like he can't, like you said, he's fumbling he can't shoot it. He doesn't get to the middle of the ice.
You're not at teaching point of the season. You need this guy you need to give him a chance to find himself.
Yeah. I guess he's maybe just Berube's kind of like, I don't know, man. Because
Berube doesn't like him.
Clearly, because that line was great for long stretches of this season. And for him to not go with it tonight in a must win, chasing the game, down a goal, down 2 goals, he just can't stand him right now. So
yeah, I think Domi was doing just enough to make it seem like he was doing things tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like he was getting in on the offensive zone, he's over skating pucks, and then he was trying to get in on the forecheck, but then to no avail. But like he was there, and I think that energy sort of, I don't know, tricked Berube, or if he just thought, hey, McMahon's not doing anything, so I might as well go.
Maybe that's what it was.
Something, but I'm with you on this, Bourne, is like that line at least at times gave you real pop. And I think you got to try and see if you can rediscover it. But then again, it gets back to the same issue, which is like we've figured out that the Lorentz line works and you're not messing around with it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, okay, so let's just play it out where Pacioretty comes out and Robertson goes in. So now you've got a Domi, Robertson, Pontus, Holmberg line.
Yeah. That's not a good hockey line.
On the road?
No, I don't want Domi out there. That's not my line.
Okay, so, but even still, then if, let's just say you got your wish and Domi's out, and then you have Pontus Holmberg playing with David Kampf, and then Nick Robertson is there just doing what exactly on that line?
Yeah, you might have to rejig the whole thing. I mean, you can't be that married to that fourth line that's scored no goals. I get we like it and it hits and stuff, but you gotta figure something out here. Hey, by the way, the complete opposite how the Leafs have been playing. Puck and OZ time, they had 8 more minutes than Ottawa tonight, and expected goals were in Ottawa's favor overall.
Yeah, listen, this is the Toronto Maple Leaf special, is the deserve to win meter. Hey, we're getting everything.
But it hasn't been Bunk for 30 games.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying that in the playoffs in the past, when they've had these choke job performances, it's like power play doesn't score, take a stupid penalty, which was like Morgan Riley with the one behind his own net, like just really bad. I thought maybe that could have been a boarding call too, by the way. The Leafs kind of got away with one.
Yeah.
What?
Could have been a major, you mean?
Major, yeah, sorry. Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
like it's like he sees the numbers. He's right behind him. He just buries them. You got nothing in a game 5 from your core players. Your fans were tight. Your goal, you got a quote that said we're snake bit. Like it's
Bingo,
all
baby.
there. Yeah,
What's-
the whole
what's it?
world is celebrating. Everybody's
there.
getting clipped. Everybody who had a moment of optimism after being up 3-0 like a normal franchise would gets clipped into oblivion for the next 2 days. Like it's hell. This is hell.
Yeah, like I really don't want to do this anymore. Like I'm so sick of doing this. Like,
4 hours
truly.
of radio, Sam. 2 hours of just Leafs talk over the next 2 days
No,
before they play again.
But no, it's just
Oh God.
it's not
And
even
my only
like,
out is the Blue Jays.
oh my God. Hey, Vladdy went deep tonight.
Yeah. Vladdy, when there's
Varsho
no
did,
pressure on, boy, oh boy. It's like Vladdy and Matthews. Look at these.
Varsho may have
Spider-Man
made the
meme.
greatest catch in baseball history tonight, by the way.
Yeah, it
So
was. It was incredible. It really
go
was.
check that out.
Yeah,
But
it really was. If you haven't seen the Varsho catch, go watch the Varsho catch.
the last thing I'll say is, we've kind of alluded to it, but I'm just sick for Leaf fans and people have to talk about this team.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's unbelievable we're here. Like
Well, it just sucks so bad that again, being up 3-0, even now, has turned into something.
You're not even allowed to.
embarrassing
You're
for
not even
fans.
allowed to be happy about it.
Yeah,
You can.
exactly.
You can never go into any other series. Down the road, you get up 3-0. Oh, he's gonna let him back in it like Ottawa got back. It's just, it sucks. There's never a moment of enjoyment, even when you think you're at your highest. That's when the ghosts sneak up. They're like, "Oh, I saw you were pretty happy there.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, buddy."
Yeah. It's like they haven't won since 1967, and this core has been such a failure. It's like, can you not just do another embarrassing one? Can you just not do this?
Yeah, can you just lose normally?
Yeah, like I there's no question you would have rather gotten swept than
Of
to
course.
have the reverse sweep.
Of course, no
like-
question.
Yeah.
So, in your heart of heart, last thing a question I'll ask. 7.
They win. They win game 6. In my heart of hearts, they win game
Listen,
6.
I've already looked like a dumb idiot for saying I like this team and that they're different and like celebrate being up 3-0. It's normal to celebrate good things happening to you. They're gonna win in game 6. I'm on, like, I got 10 toes down. I can't, like, it's the same joke as before where it's like you can't pull over anymore. Like, so we're already pulled over.
I'm already pulled over. I can't pull over any farther.
Can't pull over anymore. This already sucks.
Boys,
It already hurts. Yeah.
I know we're all looking forward to a weekend off, but I'll see you Saturday night for game 7.
I think if it goes 7, the Leafs will lose.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I
Yeah.
think it's going there. I do.
Like, can you imagine? You think it was tight in that arena tonight? Like,
I saw all I needed to see tonight, boys.
I would
saw all I
honestly,
needed to see.
if I was the city of Toronto, if it comes back here for game 7, I would say, listen, you saw the host of Leafs Talk, right? COVID's back. We got to shut up. We got to shut the buildings down. Nobody's allowed inside, including camera people. And then they just post the result like in a newspaper.
No,
like back in
they
the
should
day.
do. They should just be like, we got to shut the league down right now. Shut the league
yeah.
down. No more hockey. No,
No fans in the building. That's for
No.
sure. Like, no one's allowed
just
to.
no hockey. No sport.
But just, you can't make people pay to go see them play game 7 against Ottawa. Like,
No.
you can't.
No.
That's gotta, like, that's free. That's free. That's on you. You gotta pay people to go that. There's no way I would go to that game 7 with
No.
a free ticket. Like,
You couldn't pay me $2,000 to go to that game.
no shot.
No.
You're a psycho if you're going to that game. And like, I'm all the power to you if you're like, you got to support the team. Like, yeah, somebody's got to do the job. But the way I view you is like frontline infantry, like you're.
Yeah, I'll be back here. You go take those bullets.
Send them in.
You're not one of the people we need. But you are, but like not for later.
So the last thing, Greg Berube, stick with it. We're up 3-2 in the series. It's playoff hockey. There's lots of ups and downs. We need composure. We got to stay poised, stay composed. We gotta keep our composure. We gotta keep our composure.
I mean, they did come through in old school.
They did.
Yeah, they did. They yelled, "I gotta keep composure," and then they did come through. So let's hope that somebody can go into the Will Ferrell catatonic state and deliver an all-time performance on the big stage.
Believe in Craig Berube. He's like the one piece of this that I believe in.
Anyways, I'm back on my show tomorrow. My voice is like, if this sounds bad, I got to tell you, like, it was literally not usable the last 2 days, but thank you to everybody that sent me nice notes. So yeah, back on JD Bunkis podcast tomorrow. Yeah, for 2 days of me talking more about what I talked about. Yeah. And some Blue Jays.
Oh my God. Tune into the JD Bunkis podcast, everyone.
I'm sick and the teams are terrible. Here's 3 hours.
I gotta tell you,
got
might
a
skip
garbage
tomorrow.
voice.
Might skip tomorrow.
I got a garbage voice, and I'm going to talk about the 2 things causing you the most pain.
Up next, your parents' divorce.
Yeah, exactly. Honest to God. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis, at JT Bourne, at Sam A. McKee. Subscribe to this podcast for the love of God, and leave a thumbs up on YouTube. Share the clips, do those things. We'll see you on Thursday.